Let's get him now. There we are. Add people to this call. There he is anyway. Okay. So Akram, we're ready.
Hello.
Hi, Andre.
Hi.
Hi. Akram, you still there?
Yes. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Akram.
Andre, Akram is our partner in Tunisia, and Akram, Andre is our partner in Kiev from Tor Consulting. So,
hi.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So, shall we start, Akram?
Yes, please go ahead. So I'm here with Jihan and Baya.
Okay. Excellent. Hi. Hello. Good evening. Thanks for joining again. And I'm glad this time we can actually interact. We can speak. Sound seems to be working. Everyone sees my screen.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it's, you see, welcome to Presto Digital Transformation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So really quickly, I just wanted to do a quick introduction. The last time we did a demo here, we spent a lot of time on the actual continuous improvement managerial functions of the organization. And what we didn't see last time was the project management functionality that Presto offers. And the reason why I want to do a quick introduction about the project management functionality is because your first actual usage of Presto is going to be the project management functionality. You're going to use it to fill in Presto for all the other pieces, for all the other functions, processes, and whatever you decide to do with it. So you're actually killing two birds with one stone, because you're learning how to manage projects. In the project you're managing is learning how to use Presto. So really quickly, key value adds of project management functionality. As you see on this screen, we offer two views of your projects. We offer on the left side your traditional cockpit view, where you're going to see all your projects listed there, and on the right what you see is the Kanban view. And we did this so that you can see visually what phase your projects are in, and you can work on those cards piece by piece. And when you're managing many projects, or when you're managing people that are managing projects, you're looking with these two views. You can easily understand where projects maybe need extra support. Maybe somebody is having a hard time. Another very interesting piece of our solution is that we offer the project charter, and we offer the project charter in digital format. So what you're putting into your project, you're identifying objectives, principles, dependencies, constraints, risks, key activities, and of course you're highlighting who the project sponsors are, the project manager, the project administrator, the stakeholders, and all of this gets managed digitally. So in the event that something within your project seems to be going wrong, anybody that's using the platform can come in and raise their hand, or should I say transform a color from green to yellow, yellow to red, to highlight the fact that something needs to be addressed. We also offer the project governance reporting. Here you see a phase of a project, and now using our interface, I'm going to show you today how to set this up, but it's important you understand why. Is using our interface, you can start communicating to the project participants. Okay, it's not only enough that you show up to the meetings, but you're also here for a reason. And as you can see on this screen over here, you're highlighting people, how much commitment they're expected to spend in your project. So here you have a person expected to spend 2 hours a week, and he's been called to this project because he has high technical skills, and you expect him to be project administration. So at this point in time, when you have this type of report in front of you, and you have your project participants, you start communicating more effectively as to why everyone is being invited to the table and how much you expect from them during the course of the project. And all of this being said, you're also tracking start dates and end dates. So then if you really want to get to the last level of details, you can track somebody's salary in Presto, and then you can see, okay, this person here is going to be working 1.5 hours a week. The start date is the 1st of December, the end date is the 26th of February, and Presto can immediately calculate how much it's going to cost you from a salary point of view if you want to get to that level. Absolutely not necessary. Here's just a quick view of our cockpit, and you're going to see this now firsthand because we're going to start putting your exercises in Presto. But just so you know, we're not going to see everything tonight, and I hope you get to see everything during the course of your exercise, but I know the time frame is short, so you have a lot of things that you can potentially test in a restricted time frame. But it is important to note that in addition to your project cockpit, we're tracking milestones, we're tracking tasks, we have a calendar, nice calendar reporting, we do project charter, project governance, Gantt charts, role responsibility, archiving, cost benefits analysis. We have a ton of different filters, so you can filter projects by where you are in the RACI, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. You can filter projects by status. You can filter projects by benefits. Show me the projects that are going to reduce risk, and you can filter that way. And we have unlimited Kanban setup. So basically, you have a project Kanban, but you're going to set up the phases that you want the Kanban to demonstrate, and you can set up as many as you like, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. And finally, we have a wide set of graphic reporting, so you can see, especially from a cost point of view, how much projects are expected to gain in benefits and how much they're costing you so far. Finally, this is something that's fresh to the market. This doesn't exist yet except in Presto. We have a nice way to start tracking not only your project charter, which you see over here, but you also have a way to start tracking lessons learned, and we capture these lessons learned using road hazards. So you can see we have a project here where something is slowing down. A manager has highlighted that something's slowing down. And what you see here is a vertical depiction, and you can scroll here for every day of the project. So you as a project manager have the possibility to go in on any day when make an observation. You can say, okay, on this date I'm noticing that there's a road incident, meaning maybe people have stopped working because there was an earthquake and now people can't work in the building, so the office is shut for two weeks. And that's when you start highlighting these type of things. And we have a robust list of what these road hazards are in Presto, so it's going to train you as a project manager to see projects, to see exercises, initiatives in a different way. So all of that, now we're going to go into it now just once again. I'm Andrew. I'm the Managing Director at Top Technical Intelligence, and Akram, feel free to interrupt me and add anything else you want to say. But I've been discussing this with Akram now for the last 2 days on how we're going to do this, and I want to make sure that you get the most out of this experience, even though the time frame is short. So this is my contact information, and me or someone from my team is going to be available for the next 2 weeks in the event you need some quick question answered or some quick training or something. So I put my Skype there as well. That's usually the best way to get to me, but if you need to send me an email, that's fine. And you see our website there. And the last thing I want to tell you is that if you're considering using this tool in your work environment, we're offering for April, we're offering a huge special. Basically, we're offering 3 full user licenses for the price of 50 euros per month total. And that price would be for the lifetime of your subscription. So even if the prices of Presto changes, you can pay for the life. 3 licenses for 50 euros a month. Now, just so you know, 1 user license in Presto costs 85 euros a month. So basically, you're saving 205 euros a month for 3 licenses, and that's what we're offering. Obviously, if you wanted to buy more licenses, then the price wouldn't be discounted like this. But if you want to bring this into your company and you want to try it, we're offering this special. Akram, did you want to add anything before we go forward?
Just good to know.
Okay, great. So, by the way, just so I know, who's on the line right now?
It's Baya and Jihan.
Hi Bea, hi Jihen. Nice to meet you. I hope I got your pictures right over here. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is what I set up for you. I set up this dummy company, and what's happening now? This team, I called you MSB Consulting Group. Let's imagine that you're a consulting company. That there's the 5 of you, and you're working with this client. And right now the client is called Magic Company Ltd. Okay, we have Melisa, who's the CEO, and she's responsible for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different teams. So for the next 2 weeks, you're going to be using Presto to manage this company or a potentially different company. This is what you currently have in there. But the first exercise I'm going to ask you to do is confirm what's the company you're managing. What's the name of the company? Who are the people? What are the names of the teams? So your first real exercise between the 5 of you as a team is going to be to decide what organizational chart you want to manage in Presto and who the people are in this company. So that means you can take a real example if you like. You can take this example, or you can take a real example and this example and mix them together and make a half real, half fake example, just so it's easier for you to test. On this slide, and I'll give you this slide there, here you have all your login IDs. So when you log into Presto, use your email address. You'll be able to go in and change your password. Right now, your password is for everybody is 1234, but you'll be able to go in and very easily change it. And of course, we can help you with that if you need it. So the first exercise you're gonna do, what we can start doing this tonight, is identify the company. So basically, what you have to do on your own is agree the organizational chart and agree the employees. So let's go in here now. Let me see if we can go in. Go into Presto. Here we go. So I'm going to log in as myself. Okay. So I log in, and what you're going to see when you log in, you're going to see your company here. Right now I call this Group 1, but once again, once you agree your company, you can call this whatever you want. And at the moment, Fatma I put as the team leader. But that's for all of you guys to decide. So we're logging in, and we're going to go immediately to the projects board. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to set up all the different projects, or should I say exercises, in this category, which is MSB activities. Okay, that's your university and your activities. Right now, I have 4.
Excuse me, Andrew.
Yeah, sure.
Shall we log in with you, or at this stage just
No.
watch and listen first?
Okay, so okay, yeah. So yeah, just listen for a bit, and then if you want, try to log in right now. Just don't lose concentration on what I'm showing you, just so you can understand what we're doing. And then that's a good point. I didn't realize you have. Does everybody have laptops in front of them that have internet access?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's the URL?
Yeah, good point. So the URL is going to be prestoci.topt.com, and I'm going to put that on the slide as well.
It's actually not clear on the screen, that's why.
Okay. Let's get this up here like this. Okay, so
PrestoCI.
It's prestoci.com. .topt.com, sorry. It should be MSB, shouldn't it?
Yeah, did you create it as MSB or MDS?
No, it's MSB. Sorry, I did this earlier. It's MSB.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Okay. Did anybody have? Did everybody log in?
Yes.
Okay, great. If you see anything that looks strange on your screen, please make a note or please let me know, because I'm interested in making sure that the appearance is good on everybody's machine, regardless of what browsers everyone's using. So, okay, so what you see here now, this comes directly from, this is what we call the cockpit screen. And I'll go back to the landing page. You can go directly to that screen from here. Or you can, if you go into Presto, here's where you go into Presto and see the mother dashboard. You can go directly to the cockpit by clicking on this icon again. Okay, so I click on the icon, and we're going to go into the cockpit, because now I'm going to show you the projects, the exercises that I've set up, or that I've set up at 50%, and now we're going to enrich them. Looking at this, so the first. So basically, I'm going to go really jump through the slides quickly. Exercise 1, we're setting up, we need to put in the organizational chart and we need to put in your employees. Exercise 2, you're going to agree pretty much the project timeline, the project charter together with the team. These are the key 4 activities that you need to get done. Exercise 3, you're going to set up the structure of your company. So you want to put in company information, clients and service providers, if we decide that that's what you want to work on, audit strategy, IT strategy. I imagine that these 2 here are not going to be in scope for the next 2 weeks. In the end, you'll decide this together. And then, of course, the operational excellence strategy. And then exercise number 4. And here's where you have the key functionalities of Presto. Whichever ones you choose you want to work on, this is where you're going to actually start putting things in there so you can just test how it works. Now, I think we're leaning, I have an idea which ones I think would be useful to you, but I'm going to let you think this through and then we can brainstorm it a bit. And then exercise 5, if you're interested at the team level, I'm going to show you how to put people into Presto, how to put roles, responsibilities, and start mapping people's talent profile to their role and responsibility. And then the last thing you're going to do, which I don't have a slide, is going to be the management of the administration. So these 5 items here, what I've done now, let's talk about exercise 1. So you come to this board over here, and this is I've set up in Presto so far for this company 4 Kanbans. So you have MSB activities, a traditional Kanban, and you can see there's nothing in there. You have long-term projects, nothing in there. Continuous improvement initiatives, nothing in there. But every activity that's related to MSB, relating to your consulting company that you're doing with this company, I put in this Kanban over here. Now you can always move these things around if you like to, reallocate them. But for now I put everything in here. So what do we have? When we see number 1, that number 1 is making reference to exercise number 1. So company general setup, okay? So what did I put in here so far? I click on this, okay? And here on this screen you have the general details, the title, okay, the status. So if I put archive, it's going to disappear from this screen and it's going to be an archive exercise, an archive project, which you can go back and get looking in the archive filter. If this exercise has a charter or not, okay? Here I put a description of what this exercise is. So basically, I think I just did copy and paste of this. this text over here. And here you have the type which Kanban it's on. So right now we have it on MSB activities. So if I say, you know what, this is a continuous improvement initiative. So now I put it here, I hit save, and you're going to see that it disappeared from here. It's not here anymore, and now it's on this Kanban. If I go to continuous improvement initiatives, there it is. So now let's go back and put it back to what the Kanban it belongs on. Now, actually, I'll show you something so you understand why I say Kanban. This is the continuous improvement initiative Kanban, and if you click on this, it takes you directly to that Kanban. So there it is. So here we have that initiative that we just remapped to this Kanban. And if you go to MSB activities, here's all the initiatives on this Kanban. These are the ones we were just looking at in the cockpit. So now let's go back to the cockpit, and let's remap that one that we saw over here, continuous improvement initiatives. I select it, and I come back here. Let's put it back in the MSB activities. Save. So now it disappears from here, and now it's back in this category of processes. So now going back on this, so here you have the general information. If you are tracking costs and benefits of a project, this is the screen you would do it on. Now you can see we haven't put the plan start, plan date, end date in. We haven't put expected gain, salary cost. So all of these screens you're going to discover on your own. You're going to decide what's useful, what's not useful, depending on the initiative. In this case, what we're tracking now, here's where you put your project plan in. Okay, so you come here, and now I've structured this MSB activities to 5 phases: the approval phase, the to-do phase, the doing phase, the done phase, and the to-review phase. So these are the 5 phases you saw on that Kanban earlier. So right now we're in the to approve phase. We have 2 checklists that I put in here, okay? And so what I've done, I've said, okay, to start, you need to decide what company, real or fictitious, will be used for the exercise. So if you like the company we put in there, then you're already done. But I have a feeling you're going to want to put something more relevant to the work that you actually do on a day-to-day basis. So then here's the first big exercise. Enter the organizational chart into PRESTO, and then enter the company employees into PRESTO. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's go back to the PRESTO dashboard. So I click on this button, and it takes you directly to the PRESTO dashboard. Now we've set up this company in here already. And so we have this company, but we also have a transversal consulting company working with it. So here you have your 2 companies, one above the other. MSB Consulting, 5 people. Magic Company Limited, 6 people. Now who are these 5 people? If you click on that 5, it takes you directly to the contacts panel. But it's going to be filtered for these 5 people. So if you click on it, voila, here you have your team. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so these are the people that are part of that company. Let's go back, clicking on the arrow. So we come back. Now let's talk about who are the 6 people in this company, Magic Company Limited, and this is your sample company, and here they are: Alexandra, George, Keith, Louis, Melissa, and Sandrine, just like you saw here. So now you're starting to understand that your organizational chart is in here. So that's why it's important, as soon as possible, you and the team get together and decide what's the organizational chart you want to have here. So I'll back up a second. So now we're going to click on the Magic Company Ltd, because you want to see who are these 5 teams, who are these 6 people, and you click on this, and we come in, and now here's your company. So what you want to do, you want to get to this level here, and you want to have your sample company. Yeah, so maybe Akram would be a good guide for you as well. Something, considering the time frame, something that's going to be easy to put in, easy organizational chart. And when I say we need to get the people in here, we do need to put people in here. At the very least, you need to have at least who the team leaders are. So I'm not saying if you have the company and there's 300 people in it, okay, maybe it's good you'll put in the 20 teams, but maybe putting in 300 employees isn't the right thing to do. But if you do decide that you want to do some human resource testing on skills and roles and responsibilities, choose one team and put the people in there. And you'll have, once you have a feel for how this works, it'll come naturally to you. You're going to see a lot of things tonight. It's going to be overwhelming. But once I said Akram, myself, we're available for support, and we can help you get this thing done as quick as possible. So going back to this, you're setting up your company. Let's go back to the project management cockpit now. So I click there, and we're going to come back, and we're going to see what else is on the to-do list for that first exercise. So in the first exercise, we have company general setup. Open up the pop-up, and as you can see, this item here, decide what company, real or fictitious, will be used for the exercise. So when you click on this little I, you get the details of this item. So now, if you want to go to the really granular, detailed level, you can say, okay, this item here, I expect it to be done for the 11th of April. And here you can start flagging what type of task it is. So you can say, this is actually a milestone. It's also requires a validation. I also consider this task also requires a brainstorm. You need to brainstorm with a team. And it's also a group exercise. So that means we've categorized it in 4 different task types. So now when you go into your dashboard, when you do filters later, and you say, show me any milestone that is in April, you're going to get this item here. And just like you would if you say, show me any group task exercise that's due in April, if that's how you want to filter it. So once again, you created a task, you created a date, and you've created a task type. Now another thing that's important is that you start using the RACI logic. So you're going to say, okay, this task here, it's at the general level. Who should be involved? So I'm just imagining that Fatima is going to be the team leader. So she's probably going to be the accountable person. Just a question. Everybody understands the RACI methodology, correct? Or shall I explain it again?
I have an idea what RACI is. Yeah, you can give us a quick explanation.
Okay. So, sorry, I thought that was something that was already covered in one of the classes. Okay. So just to give you an idea about RACI, go to Google and watch what happens when you put in RACI. And I think you have it's a huge topic that's become very popular over the last couple of years. And basically, RACI is an acronym. It means responsible, accountable, consulted, or informed. So now, this is a Lean Six Sigma methodology, and it's basically when you, let's take a look at one that might be interesting. So I open up this, okay, here you go. So here you have a project taking place, and they have the tasks in the project, they have the people, and then they have the RACI logic. So what the RACI means, responsible, accountable, consulted, or informed. Responsible is the person that is going to do the work. Okay, so if you're on an assembly line and you're washing fruit, okay, the person that's actually washing the fruit is responsible. That's the person that gets his hands dirty. He knows how to do the job. The accountable person is the actual supervisor in most cases of that person. So it's the person that's accountable that the task gets done correctly, and he has responsible people doing the work. So in this case, the accountable person is the person that's going to get in trouble if things don't go well. Now, Presto's used to track the RACI not just at the process level, but also at the project level. And we like this because it's a way for you to capture data of people's know-how. Consulted is anybody that might get a phone call in the event somebody has a question or there's some change that might take place on the process. So what that means, you could be an expert on something, and you worked on a process for 5 years, you became an expert. Everybody knows in the company that if somebody needs to brainstorm, to ask a question about this process, you're the person to go to. But then one day you move to another division, you move to another team, and you have a totally new job. But it might happen one day that there's a big issue, or there's a big discussion, a change to make on that process, and they're going to say, you know what, we need to call him because he worked on it for 5 years as an expert. Let's engage him. So you are actually, in this case, you're a consulted party. You're an expert. You're not hands-on. You're not working daily with it. But in the event there's somebody needs to tap into some know-how, you could be a potential person. So once again, you're a consultant, you're an expert. And then finally, you have the informed parties. And the informed parties are usually high-level people that they can also be clients. And basically, informed parties are if anything wrong is taking place on this process, or if there's any change that anyone should know about, please keep me informed. So it's usually that person that's in CC or the multiple people that are in CC. So utilizing this logic now, you're going to start assigning tasks. So now we're going to come here. Now I'm just going to do this randomly. So let's imagine that Fatma is the team leader. She's the company leader, okay? And she's going to say, okay, we need to approve the organizational chart, and we need to enter the company employees into Presto. So Fatma's she's the accountable party. You know, she's the head of the consulting company, and she's going to be in trouble if this work doesn't get done. In the meantime, she's going to say, you know what? Let's put Bea on this. So she's going to actually, and maybe Jihen can also be involved. So now at this point in time, what we're doing is we're saying this is the accountable person. These are the two responsible people. And at one point in time, you might even say, you know what? In the event we don't know what to do, let's call Andrew, or maybe even call Akram. And there he is. Akram, I put that this is Akram's picture for now. Akram's going to update that for everybody. So anyway, what you're doing now, we're talking about the approval phase, we're talking about the tasks, and these are the people that are going to be responsible for doing this. So once you get to the task level, once again, you can come here and you can say, okay, this task here is now officially started. It's underway. You know, we've spoken about this, you understand it, and you realize it needs to get done. Here's the due date I'm proposing, but once again, I think you should all go in, collaborate together, and go through these one by one and agree who's responsible to do these things and what dates you want to get these done by. So here I put this one, enter the organizational chart into Presto. My opinion, it should be done by Thursday, Friday, so I put green. Enter the company employees into Presto. I put Friday because that's kind of a bit of a bigger task. And now you put green. So now you have three tasks that are underway. As soon as these tasks start getting completed, you would come in here and you would click that off, and there would be alert messages saying that tasks have been completed. And as you can see, you have the percentages of what's left. So none of these have been done yet, but these are the key. This is the key checklist I made to start. And what I did now, when you see that little pin there, that pin means that I pinned it down. So you're going to see all of these tasks in every phase. So you can see them here. So if now it's going to be in the doing phase. When you come back here, you can see I've already ticked it off. This one over here, I haven't pinned it down yet. So enter company information into Presto. You notice how you don't see it in this phase yet. So what we want to do, we want all tasks to show up everywhere. So I'm going to pin this down. And this is the reason. It's probably unclear why we have this, but it will become clear in the future when you do an initiative where you have specific tasks for specific phases. For example, if you were doing continuous improvement initiative and you had to restructure the process's operating model, you would have defined target state, and you have a specific set of tasks. You would have identify costs and benefits, and you'd have a specific set of tasks. So it's a way to use the Kanban board horizontally as well as vertically. So now what we've done, we've put all of these tasks in this traditional structure. We're just using the traditional structure to approve, to do, doing, done, or to review. So let's imagine now we're in this, where we look at this and we say all of these items here, actually, let's talk about these items first. Enter company information into Presto. So basically, once you put the people in there, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go into Presto, and you're going to want to go directly to the company setup panel, which is over here, okay? And you're going to come in here, and you're going to say, and I put this on the slide, what's the name of the company? You come to this panel, here you put the name of the company. Who's the CEO? What country is it in? What locations does the company have? Now, once again, this information, a lot of this information, you're probably going to say maybe not. You're probably going to say not this time. We're not. It's not in scope. But that's to decide. That's to decide between today and tomorrow. Contract types. What type of contract types for employment? Full-time, part-time, fixed. Probably not in scope for this exercise. Titles. Okay. Do we have managerial titles? Vice presidents, assistant vice presidents. So these are all things that, if you're going to be focusing on human resource aspect of the company, you might want to start using this panel over here. Clients. If you're going to be managing the value chain, if you want to talk about wastes from interactions, you might want to come to this screen over here and enter a couple of clients. As you can see, there's nothing in here yet. Same thing with third-party service providers. Okay, in this screen here, contacts is where you enter all the contacts. So you've already seen the contacts a few times filtered. Here's every contact in the company. Okay, and you can see your people internally, like Alexandra or Melisa, who's the CEO. She's internally. That's the name of her team. But you also have MSB Consulting. That's you guys. That's us. Okay. So here's where you set up everything in the company, and I put that on that checklist for the company setup. Now let's go back there for a second, and what we'll do, just so you can get one last look at exercise number 1, and then we can go forward and talk about exercise number 2. Here you are, exercise number 1. And now we're going to come in here and we're going to say, okay, let's imagine that today's, this presentation that we just spoke about now, everybody's in agreement with this. So now to approve, it's no longer ongoing. It's actually, we're all in agreement that this is all to be approved. Now, by the way, if you look at this and you say, now you can put as many tasks as you like in here, but you can delete tasks very easy. So you might look at titles and grading and you might say, no, we don't need that. And you're going to say, actually, I'll cancel locations. And you're just going to click on the X, delete, and now it's gone. Now, just so you know, I gave everybody unlimited access. So you have complete access to do whatever you want here. So you have complete flexibility. The downside is be careful, because if you delete something that somebody worked on all day, we're not going to get it back. Okay. We do have a daily backup that gets done once a day, but it's a daily backup, so if it wasn't backed up last night, you're not going to have it again. Okay, so I put that back in here. Now, to approve, everybody's in agreement with these tasks here. So let's say this is now approved. Okay, now the phases, we have on hold, we have not started. As you can see, it's gray. We have ongoing. As you can see, it's green. We have at risk, meaning it's at risk. We might not make the deadlines we agree. Delayed, meaning it's officially delayed, red, and blue for complete. So at this point in time, it's now blue, and you're now in the to-do phase, and here they are. So now it's been approved, and now we're officially in the to-do phase. It's underway, it's been approved. So now you can see, looking at this screen, you quickly get a view here. You can see it's green, it's approved. If you go to this screen over here, if you filter and say, show me all projects where something is ongoing, you click on this, and you can see immediately you have your filters. You also have your filters here for benefits, and I'll show you how to put benefits in. These are the phases. Show me every project that's currently in the to-do phase. You click on that, and you can see, and actually it's not, this one is not, you're wondering, wait a second, we just put it in the to-do phase, why is it not in there? And the reason is because we didn't move it on the Kanban yet. So now you're going to go to the Kanban, and you're going to say, okay, here I am, and immediately you notice, wait, okay, there's 5 phases. One of them is blue, one of them is green, the rest is still gray. And you look at that and say, well, this one belongs here. So now you can see company general setup is now here, and these are the ones that are left to do. Now, whoever's listed as the accountable party, that's the person you're going to see here. So let's imagine that in the second, now that it's been approved, Fatma says, you know what, I trust. I want to give this to. Let's assign this to Jihain. Okay, Fatma takes herself out, and maybe Fatma's actually just going to help work on this, but in a light manner. So we'll put Fatma on here as the responsible party to do. We'll also put Daya. Okay, So now you can see we're starting to say, okay, we're in the to-do phase. Here are the tasks. These are the people. Let's not forget that if we have any questions, we can always call Andrew. And then at this point in time, you close this, and you can see whoever's the accountable party, the first accountable party, that's the face you're going to see over here. So you imagine yourself as a business leader, you start looking down at all your initiatives, you can easily get a quick glance at who's responsible for what and what phase everything is in. So we're going to go back to the cockpit now. As you can see, there's still a lot of items that you have to go through. And I'm not sure how much time we have tonight, but the logic now is that you're going to go through these and you're going to start enriching those task lists. Really quickly, this one's important. Number 2, building agreeing your general project charter. And I'm using the word project charter very loosely because when I say project charter, I'm also speaking about the tasks and the timeline and everything that goes with setting up a project. But this is important because now you want to build this together with your team, and you want to make sure that it doesn't cost you too much effort and work for the short time frame that you have. So, but it's a good exercise for you to start brainstorming. So I've already come in here, and let's see what's in here. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever presented this type of project to this type of group. This is an academic project, so it's a bit different than if we were doing an installation with a client. So I'm learning as I go as well. So just
doing a good job.
If something's unclear, feel free to jump in. But like I said, there's a lot of things there's a lot of points I want to get across. I don't want to give you too much. I want to give you enough time to digest the things, and of course have enough time to use the interface to get these things done yourself and make your own conclusions, solve your own problems with the tool in front of you. Yep.
Can you are you going to show us the charter?
Yep, that's what we're going to do. This is step number 2, agree the project charter. So I put, okay, what are the key tasks? Agree core and scope functionality. So basically, I think before you guys put any task lists together, you guys got to sit down and you got to say, okay, we know what the company is going to be. Now, what are the things we want to test? I can't imagine you're going to test all of these things. But, you could if you want to do it lightly. So at this point in time, step 1 is core and scope functionality, agree exercise, owners, and due dates, and then create the project charter. So I already started the project charter. So if you click on this, and actually I'll close this for a second, you can see that I've already started it because in this column here is a charter. We put the word yes. And I put that in manually here, so you can actually take that out if you want. But when you see that word yes in there, it also means that I created a charter in there. Now, you can create charters for every initiative, and sometimes it's important. If you're doing an initiative where you have a lot of different people from a lot of teams and you have trouble communicating, create a charter. Why not? Put the thing out there. Everybody sees it, and then they start realizing, okay, I didn't realize that this is how this person sees this project. So maybe my involvement needs to be more considered more seriously. So what I put in here, I started putting the charter, but it's really up to you guys to decide what you want to chart in this charter. So you click on Project Charter, and it takes you directly to this input screen. So what do we have on the charter? We have the core info. We have objectives, we have principles, dependencies, constraints, and risks. Core info, and you can see it's blue. And it's blue because it means it's complete. So what's in here? We have the project sponsor. I just put Akram, and you guys obviously can change this. Program director is going to be Fatma. Okay. Project managers, we have Ons, Atsa, Jihain, Bayer. Project administrator, Bayer, as well as Ons. And the key stakeholder, well, the stakeholder is the CEO, Marisa. She's you're doing a project on her team. So once again, you're going to construct this charter together. This is my idea of what your charter could be. What are the key objectives? And I just started. I put 1 here. Manage an agreed company for. Okay, so your key objective to this charter: manage an agreed company for a period of 15 days. I think that's the period. I'm not sure. Using Presto digital transformation. Another objective. What could it be? Feel free to suggest one immediately if you have one on top of your head. you might want to say test human resource management functionality. I'm just shooting things out. At the end of the day, you may have a different plan. Okay, and here you're going to put example skills, TPM if you're doing a manufacturing company, depends. So once you have objectives, and once and this is where anybody that has visibility, has interaction with a charter, has the possibility to say, okay, this is green. And why is it green? Because everything's on track. So you're going to submit this. So now you have two objectives. Okay, key principles. And now I thought of two so far. Maximum online collaboration using the multi-user business interface. So my goal is that everybody, all of you involved, are using your laptops, and you're going to be entering information electronically. The more you use Presto, everybody, the better, because it's going to make you understand the tool better and start interacting better. Work will be distributed evenly among the team. That's a normal one. Obviously, we don't want someone to have to do all the work and another person not to do any. So you can. The beauty about this is once you start using the project charter, you're going to notice 80% of the principles you put in there can be used in the next charter. And you can actually import principles. You can import these items from all the other charters ever made. Now, this is the first time I've set up this company, so when you click on this, there's nothing in here yet. But I'm going to show you once, if you're interested, how to put a template of principles, dependencies, constraints in there. So every time you build a charter, you just quickly, boop, you open it up, download them, and then put some customized ones in to customize for your project. Another key principle is always that the target model, the result, is going to bring value to everybody. So obviously, if you put this in, the target model offers improvements to all stakeholders. Now let's imagine now that there's 3 departments involved, or we should say 3 stakeholders. Now this is a beautiful one because everyone realizes at the beginning, you being the program director, you being the project manager, that everyone realizes, okay, so one of the principles that this project manager is going to help us find is to make sure that the solution get put in place gives us improvement. So what this allows now, if in the event during the project things start to get a little bit confusing, people start changing things, if in the event somebody feels, wait a second, what's the ultimate product, the result of this project is actually going to make my team in a worse situation, they can immediately come in and they can say, hold on a second, I don't think this principle is actually being respected. And as soon as you see that, as soon as you look at your project charter and you say, oh, wait a second, one of the key principles is being violated, this is now going to be a way for you to communicate to your seniors or to the problem solvers in the company. And you come to the charter screen, and here you are, and you're going to come to what we call the superhighway. And here you have your project charter. You can see 2 objectives green, 2 principles green. Oh, wait a second. And you can see there's a project principle that's off. And if you click on this, you get the charter that we just saw a second ago. Go to report. So once again, this report now is a living, breathing report, and you're presenting this, you're communicating this on a weekly basis to anybody that's a high-level stakeholder, anybody that's a high-level program director. And once you start instilling trust in your company and everybody starts using this logic, the managing directors, all he's really going to start doing, he's just going to start looking over here, and he says, you know what, if Akram and Jihain are saying that all of this is green, I'm not even going to do any more work. I'm going to go work on something else because I trust that everything is in place, and there's not going to be any surprises. Now what you're seeing over here now is what we call the incident superhighway. And here we're giving you as a project manager the possibility to start tracking observations. I'm going to do this really quickly. Let's imagine that, let's go back into this charter and let's put it back to green just so we can say, okay, so we select project exercise number 271. We go into the charter and let's put this back to green. And let's imagine that, okay, here it is, submitted. I close this. So now if we go back to, I think it needs to be, we come back in. Now you can see everything's green. Let's imagine now, here's where you can start putting your observations into Presto as a project manager. So let's imagine that this project started a few weeks ago, okay? Now you can open this up now. You can say, as of the 1st of March, okay, the objectives were agreed, okay? So you can see now, let's imagine that you've agreed the objectives, and you put your own note in there as well, okay? Objectives agreed, okay? And you put your initials in. There's my initials. So now I put the date in, I put the status in, and now when you commit this, what you're going to see now is an observation, a note. On the 1st of March, the project charter objectives were green, everything else was gray. They hadn't started yet. Let's imagine on the 3rd of March, you had a meeting with the rest of the team and you agreed everything else. So what happens? You click on status update on the 3rd of March. That's a Saturday. Let's make it the 5th of March. It's a Monday. You come in. Now notice how on the 5th, this is green, but everything else is gray. So you come in here and you say, no, these were agreed. Okay. This was agreed. This was agreed. Okay. And you can put notes in, obviously. This was agreed. Here we have a risk that I put in. Technical issues could slow down the project. So this is a risk, but it's green, meaning no, the risk is there, but under control. Here we have two constraints that I put: limited time frame, limited resource availability. And here we say limited time frame, everything under control, no problems so far. So everything A-OK. Voila. Let's commit this as of the 5th. Okay. So now you can see on the 1st of March, objectives were agreed. On the 5th of March, these were agreed. Now notice how there's no little black circle around these, and that's because there's no notes in there. When you see a black circle, it means somebody put a comment, somebody put their know-how in there. So let's go back and say, you know what, I want to comment on those dependencies, because there was an important comment that our manager made. And he's going to say availability of project participants in the event of issues with client XYZ, participants will be asked to cease project's activities. Okay, so you're putting a comment in here saying, okay, the dependencies are fine, but one of the key decision makers said this is a situation you may want to watch out for. So we go in here, let's commit that, save, and now you can see once again your observation. So the whole strategy behind this is that the people that are managing the projects can constantly put their observations here, and then you can go back in time. And every project over the course of history gets saved like this. So when you move teams and you say, okay, I'm now becoming the business leader of a 300-person department, and I want to look at all the projects they've been working on for the last few years, you can start seeing their logic, who was involved, who did what, and you can also start seeing the key value add of this. And this is why we call this piece here lessons learned, because let's imagine that on the 6th of March, okay, you find out that there's a client had a big problem, and now there was a pricing. Let's imagine there was an error with a client, and now they need your help, and now this is going to totally take your project resource, some of your project resources out, and you have an issue. So what do we want to do here? So let's imagine the 6th of March takes place, and now here's where you have all the different types of problems that could take place in a project. Now these problems that we put here, okay, these are all dynamic. So these are all listed problems that me and my team have put in from our experience as project managers. You absolutely can find more, and you can say, Andrew, there's other problems that we would like to add in here as well. So the types of problems are suspension of activities has been ordered, or you notice that somebody's been doing something that maybe they shouldn't be doing. Okay, unexpected misfortune. That's what we're talking about right now. The client had a problem, and now you need to service the client, and now your project participants are not available. Resource dedication or slowdown. How many times are you working in a project? Everybody's responsible to do things, and then you come back a month later with a status update, and you find out that they're not where they're supposed to be. Something is taking place slower, and you want to find out why. tactical exercises introduced. How many times has that project plan been agreed, and then you find out, oh, you know what, to make this deadline, we're going to have to also do this task. We didn't realize that at the beginning. Okay. Lack of focus, discipline, or structure. How many times are people confused? Why am I doing this? Why is he doing this? What's the dates? Okay, so here's where you're going to start tracking these type of things and flagging them so that people at a higher level can get involved quicker if necessary. And then finally, lack of empowerment or subject matter expertise. Sometimes, it happens a lot of times, people that are not in a position to do things are given responsibility, and then during the project you find out, oh, wait a second, this person doesn't have the authority. Or in another way, maybe people are assigned tasks that at the end of it you find out, well, you know what, this task needed somebody with these skill sets, and this team is not in a position to do it. That happens a lot in the IT world. So let's imagine we were speaking about an unexpected misfortune, and we have a series of them. This is what we've identified, but once again, if you have other types of problems that you think our list doesn't cover, tell us and actually put them in. I'll show you where the screen is. So an unexpected misfortune, unexpected event causing project slowdown. Okay, unexpected event causing project suspension. Okay, so this first one could potentially be a client that had a problem, and now you need to spend the next 3 days fixing the problem with the client. Otherwise, your client's going to get mad at you. This one here, project suspension, could be maybe there was a snowstorm, and now the building's shut down for the next 2 weeks, and now they've decided to reprioritize this project. Okay, unexpected event canceling the project. Okay, that can happen. Something bad happens, and they say, okay, this project is now canceled. Sorry. So at this point in time, we'll make it the least expected one. Unexpected event causing a project slowdown, and here you're going to put the term. You're going to put in client issues requiring subject matter expertise. Okay, so what we've done now. So for the 6th of March, we've added a road hazard. Okay, so we add the road hazard. We commit this, and now you can see once again, we've now identified a situation on the 6th of March that something happened. Now, one thing we forgot to do while we were in there, we forgot to say, wait a second, with this road hazard, your project charter actually gets updated as well. So let's go back in here and fix that. So now what happened? We have a client issue, and as you can see, that number 1 explains that on this date, the 6th of March, there's one of these open. If something else happens, let's imagine that another natural disaster takes place in another building, another team, and now some more project participants are now going to also be suspended from the project. So same thing, snowstorm causing project suspension. Okay, and what happens now, if I add this one, same day, commit it, and now what you can see here, when I close this, you can see there's actually 2 roadside incidents open. Okay, let's imagine that on the 8th of March.
Andrew?
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
It's actually cutting off.
Sorry?
No, sometimes it's cutting off, so just want to. Sometimes your voice is cutting off, so just wanted to make sure.
Okay. So,
okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. If you need me to repeat something, stop me and tell me, because I didn't realize there was a sound quality issue. But okay, so we put 2 problems there, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete one of those. So now you can see here, there's 2 unexpected misfortunes.
Hello?
Yeah, say that again, Akram.
I think for the time frame we have for the project, that's probably a bit of too much of a detail that we would go into. So probably, I mean, the first level, like defining the project tasks, assigning them to project teams, and I mean that level would be probably probably enough for the sake of this project.
Yeah, I kind of had an idea. I kind of had an idea that this probably wouldn't be in scope for this time frame. So anyway, what I'll do, but I did want to show you that was there because maybe it could someday be important. So what we'll do now, let me get rid of both of those quickly because I want to give you a nice clean slate. So I open up this guy, and I'm going to say, you know what, let's get rid of this guy, delete this road hazard, update the load hazard. Hopefully we don't have any bugs. So now there's one left, and now I'm going to say let's delete this one as well. I'm sure Andre is appreciating this demo, but this is one of his new favorite functions that he needs to get up to speed on. So okay, so as you can see, road is clear again. But anyway, the point is you're tracking your project charter, because I know you're interested in doing a charter, and here you can actually start putting notes day by day on your project charter, as you can see we've done here. So let's go back to exercise number 2. Let me open this up again. So I'm going to select this, open this up. So these are the things that need to be done. So once again, your responsibility is to identify which of these you need to do, and I think all of these need to be done. Identify who's involved in the racing. Don't forget, notice how to do this nothing in here. That's because we didn't pin this down yet. So don't forget to pin this down like that every time you make a checklist, so that these items show up in each phase. So at this point in time, I would say we've approved this, great, and now once again we're in the to do phase. So let's make this green. It's going to be up to the team to come in here, click on this guy, put the dates that you need to get these done. Actually, I'll put the question out to you. When do you think should be the date that you should know that you should have the organizational chart done?
Organization chart. By Monday.
Okay. So what I'll do, if that's the situation, okay, so here I open this up. So here you have entered the org chart, and when I say org chart, I'm talking about the people as well. So basically what you're going to want to do, let's click on these guys here, and let's say, okay, so by, so that means the company needs to be decided shortly, but the org chart, let's put a due date on for that organizational chart for the 15th of April. So that's when we expect to see both the organizational chart plus the employees. Now, one thing I want to show you really quickly, as you start entering these things, now you can see these are both green. We got them ongoing, no problems. We got due dates, 15th of April. So now, one thing you as a business leader, you can start looking down on your project managers that's come. And now you can see, as you start looking at the screen, you say, okay, projects, you start seeing some numbers here. Let's open the project screen for a bit. Okay, and now here's the type of projects. MSB activities, Kanban, normal Kanban, long-term projects, continuous improvement projects. And here you have 10 initiatives, I should say, 10 projects that have not been started. You have 2 that are started, and those 2 projects are the ones we just looked at. So if you click on that, you can see immediately company general setup, you're currently in phase 2. Agree general project charter, you're currently in phase 2. So that's one view. The second view is the project charter view. So you look at this and you can say, okay, here I am, objectives, principles, dependency, risks, and constraints. So you see immediately, wow, everything's green on my project charter. Let's take a look at those. You open this up and you can see project 271. Once again, is here's your charter. This agree general project charter. That's the name of the initiative. These are the 2 objectives, and they're both green. So obviously, if you went back into if you go back into your project charter and change one of those, it's going to look like it's going to show up on your dashboard. And we made that so that high-level people can look down on the company and they can say, you know what, I'm not going to be tracking all the tasks because I don't have time to track every task. I just want to keep that. I want to track the charter. So let's imagine that something's not going good on the charter. You open it up and you say, you know what, one of these objectives is at risk. So let's make it yellow, test human resource management functionality. So obviously this report immediately will give you visibility. So whoever receives this report on a weekly basis is going to know that there's something at risk. But you know, if you don't want to be managing reports all the time, you also have that same visibility on this dashboard that we have over here. So you're going to click on this and immediately now you say, there's something at risk. And when you open that up, let's click just on the number 2, you get it filtered. There it is, test human resource management functionality. So now somebody at a higher level could say, oh, wait a second, do I need to step in here? If we had not closed that road hazard, you would have seen that here. Okay, I'll show you something really quickly. This is a fake company of mine, and this is how this can look after a long period of time. When you go to the dashboard, this is imagine yourself a high-level manager, and he's going to say, okay, how is my company doing? Now here we're talking about a company of 243 people, and he looks down on this and he's going to say, show me how my project charters are doing. I really want to know if there's anything I need to get involved in. So he clicks to this. Here he has his project charters, and here he has problems. So he's going to look at this and he's going to say, what's happening in this division? He opens this up, and immediately he sees problems that have been identified, the notes that the project where it takes place, the notes that the people have put in place. So immediately you're giving visibility to issues, visibilities to your project charter. He looks at this and says, oh wow, red objectives, red principles, what's happening? He opens this up, and immediately he sees, okay, objective on project number 187, there's a red one, there's a problem. There's a red issue with a principle. Okay, target operating model should reduce operating costs. So someone's saying that the operational costs are not going to be reduced. So once again, it's a way for all the stakeholders to have a nice non-confrontational platform to manage the expectations of the project and communicate immediately when things take place. So going back to the task list, wrong company. So we come back to your company. Here we are. So that was create the project charter number 2. So then I put structure in your company number 3. That comes from this slide over here. So here's where once you decide what you want to be testing, you can come in here, and I showed you that panel already. You're going to put in the company info, clients, audit strategy. I don't think that's going to be in scope for this one. OPEX strategy might be interesting depending on exactly what you want to test. Now, I imagine that KPIs is going to be something that you'll be interested in. So just remember, keep at the high level that when you set up your company, your whole OPEX strategy, operational excellence strategy, is set up here. So you can say operational readiness. Operational readiness means if you want to track, for example, if you want to track, let's talk about documents, support documents. This is where you're going to say these are the type of operational readiness items we're going to be tracking. So in this, if you're an office or services industry, this is probably you're going to be tracking support documents, hardware. If you're in mechanics, machines, tools, equipment, But if you're a facilities team, even in a bank, you're tracking the company cars for the people. Waste reduction. Here's where you put the waste types. These are what we suggest. You can add or delete these, but I would say at least start with these at the beginning. These are the risks, probably not in scope for this time around. Here's where you're going to put in your skills. So this will probably be important. I would suggest next week we have a second session and we talk about the skill management piece, so you can actually do some skill testing in your company. But once again, this is the panel where you set up all the operational excellence related items. Skills, issue types, here's where you set up your Kanban boards. Here are the road hazards, just to give you visibility since we're here. So once again, when you click on this, you see all the different types of problems that a project could encounter. You can put your own icon in there if you want. If you don't like my signs, if you think it's different types of signs, then here you have the different types of problems. Okay, and once again, if you want to add something, you say, Andrew, you missed a specific stop. I see often in projects this happens. You can add it, and that's going to come on that drop-down menu you saw earlier. Okay, so once again, it's up to you to decide which of these items is going to be relevant to your project. I would suggest you sit down now with the team once you identify what the company is, once you identify how many people you need to put in, and then decide what are the items that you want to start testing. Now, I'm not sure if you're in a position yet to decide this. Akram is in a good position because he understands very well now what the solution offers. You're starting to have an idea, but I know you're still fresh. But do you have any specific preferences just starting from now, as opposed to which of the Presto functions you're going to want to be using? I'm imagining Hoshinkanri is going to be interesting to put the long-term strategy.
Functionalities that you have on the screen, which ones you think you'd be interested in, but especially you think that you can use on time for presentation. So we've been looking at the project management part, mentioning that we have to choose a guy. Yes, we want to do it that way. We would probably include that. Actually, with if we go back to the list of functionalities, Andrew, what I was suggesting the other day was the strategy part.
So Hoshin.
Yeah, it's a strategy. It's where how you define the strategy and how you link it to projects that you would, or initiatives that you would launch, and the link to each strategic objective, let's say. There's the KPI part, there's the project management. I think, Andrew, if we can do these, would be good, I think.
So we're talking about strategy, Hoshin strategy, KPIs. Okay.
Yeah, and project management or initiative management. I wanted to do ideation as well, but
Akram, it's very easy. It's something that's one person you could just assign to for 30 minutes just to put ideas in from the lower level. So it's with 5 people on the team, it's possible. You can break these up. You can give one person the possibility to do to put in KPIs. Actually, KPIs would be 2 or 3 people, but ideation and skills could be one person just doing a quick test. But Akram, I think one of the big questions you need to decide is if you want to enter processes in, because if you enter processes, then you can do a couple other things. For example, competency, 4 steps. Without processes, some things are going to be less rich. But this you can do without processes. This you can do without processes. It would be nice if you do KPIs and then you put a couple processes in that support the KPIs, and then you identify a waste on a process and see how that waste impacts the KPI. But this is all just my idea. But what I was going to tell you is, as soon as you tell me which items you want to do, I'm going to go update those checklists in Presto, and I'm going to also probably put together a couple of job aids on how to kick those things off, so you can start working with them.
Okay. Where is the project management part on this screen?
Well, I didn't really put it in here because you're forced to use project management anyway, right? Are you referring to something different than what you've seen all the way up until now?
No. Okay. I agree with you. Probably will send the both teams that suggestion and have them decide as soon as possible, so we can get back to there.
The question to the team: do we have any idea how many hours per week, or should I even say minutes per day, may be spent on this project, so I know how much you might be able to accomplish? Well, what's the level of commitment?
One hour a day. 1 to 2 hours a day.
Per person?
Per person.
Yeah, so, and actually that's just one thing that I should show you here. This is just for your knowledge. And here is, I can't imagine we're gonna get it to this level, but if you really wanted to, so we're talking about here, we're talking about company general setup, right? So now if you come here and you can say, we expect this to kick off as of the 11th, let's say the 12th for tomorrow, and we want it to be done before Monday. Okay, the company setup is going to be done on Monday. We spoke about this anyway. And now you have these days here, so you're going to come in here and you can actually say, okay, here we have the to-do. These are the people, and now you're going to come in here, project governance, and you're going to say, sorry, I meant to say roles and costs. And now you're going to come in here and you're going to say, okay, Jihain, we're expecting she's going to be working 30 minutes a day. Fatma, 30 minutes a day on this. Andrew's going to work on this, but 30 minutes a week. And because I'm consulted, and then you can see Bea is working daily on this, which is say an hour. And once again, you're going to say, Bea, we expect you to do all the data insert into Presto, mostly administration, whereas maybe Jihain is going to be doing the research to get the information that Bea is going to put in there. You see what I mean? So here's where you're going to start. You're going to start assigning ownership from an expectation point of view. Fatma, actually Jihain is the accountable person in this one, so you're going to make sure it gets done correctly. You're the leader, and in this case, Fatma is the doer, right? Together with Bea. So once again, you can use this to start measuring how much time it's going to take to get each of these items done. But I wanted to show you this because it's very useful when you're working with a client. You know, you're working in a big company. You start promoting to people, okay, you're accountable, you're responsible, you're consulted, you're responsible, and this is what we expect you to be doing for us, and this is how much time we expect you to be working on it for the life of this phase. Okay, so an hour a day, to me, that means that's good, because then you can. I started to put, okay, so here you have strategy checklist, KPI checklist, competency, ideas, waste management. So now what you're going to do, you're going to say, Andrew, we're not interested in waste for this next 2 weeks, so we'll just delete this off the list. But once you put a finalized list here of what you are going to work on, then I can start going in there in enriching the checklists and putting a nice job aid together, saying, okay, now you're going to make sure you do this, this, and this. And try to get a better idea how long it might take you, so you can get a better idea how to manage your time.
Okay.
Any feedback from the team so far? I know you saw a lot of new stuff tonight, not just interface but also concepts, I imagine.
It's they're saying that yes, as you say, it can be overwhelming in the beginning, but I think they have to start probably look at the exercises, try to reproduce some of what you've shown today, and use the tool, and we get there.
I'm quite positive. I can almost guarantee if you do spend an hour a day for 5 days a week for two weeks, I guarantee you'll be quite educated in this tool. You'll find it quite easy. In fact, Andre on the line, he's in Kiev, and he did his training over the course of 2 months, and we spent 1 hour. He spent probably 2 hours a week, 1 hour with me on the phone, 1 hour by himself, and now he's pretty much a product champion. He does demos himself to his clients. So once you understand how the logic works, I think you'll find it quite user friendly.
Okay.
But I am here, and like I said, I have my schedule. I have a few things going on. But if you send me a note in Skype, if you ping me, or if you send me an email, say, can I have 15 minutes of your time tomorrow at 2:30? Then I'll be glad to be available, and we could have other people available as well that in the event you really need some support. But I think Akram, you're going to start becoming a good help desk as well. So
Actually, the key is for them to try, at least in the beginning, to get back to us as soon as they have difficulty. That way we can quickly get that resolved, so they can move forward quickly on those tasks.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to get back to us as soon as you have an issue to. All right. Okay, Andrew. I think if you can send us, and thank you very much for preparing all this for us. If you can send us that presentation, that document with the exercises, and I don't know how for the video if the recording was successful.
That's good. Thanks for reminding me. Let's look. Let's see if I can do it. I'm wondering. It might be an enormous file because it's